friends, I hope you're having a fantastic week. I'm back again working with the Simple Stories for the Record collection, and today I thought I would work with a selfie photo. This collection lends itself really well to everyday type photos, and who doesn't have a ton of selfies on their phones, right? I know that my kids love to grab my phone a lot and just take random selfies. They have selfies on their phone, and also I take a lot of selfies when I'm out and about by myself. Maybe I'm traveling or just making memories, with my friends or whatever it may be. So I think all of us have a bunch of selfies, and once in a while, those can be kind of difficult to scrapbook. You're not sure what, journaling to put with it, but sometimes they're just really cute photos and you want to get them in your book. And that is the case with this one today. Now, this particular selfie was one that my daughter took when she was just sitting on the porch, waiting for some friends to pick her up. She was in junior high, but they were all headed off to the local football game. So she's dressed in our local high school football sweatshirt, and she's getting excited to go have a fun night with her friends. Now, she applied a filter to this photo, which is a little where the colors are a little bit off, but I just left it that way. I thought it was really cute, and I thought it went well with these pattern papers. So here I'm just picking out like a background color that I think will be good, and then I also know that I want to use this floral paper. This is one of my absolute favorite papers from this collection, and I just thought it looks so cute with this photo here. So I just had this single photo, and what I'm going to do to really highlight this or to really help to fill the space on this 12 by 12 canvas is I'm going to add several paper layers behind this single photo. So you can see that I have a mat of white cardstock, I have the tomato red cardstock, I'm doing that floral paper, and then again I'm doing that tomato red cardstock. I'm also even going to add in even more paper layers behind this photo to just really highlight it. And that's one of my tricks for filling up the space on a 12 by 12 canvas when I have just one single photo. Another thing I like to do when I have just one photo is pull in the largest die cuts from the collection. Sometimes those large die cuts can be difficult to use or know where to find a home for them on scrapbook layouts. And so this single photo layout is a perfect opportunity to do that. I grabbed the pack of page pieces, and from there I grabbed the large typewriter die cut. I also grabbed the floral piece, and while I was in there I grabbed the eyeglasses and the clipboard piece as well. Now, I know I want to place this typewriter off to the left side of my photo, and I thought I would create a little scene with it. I wanted it sort of a shape to anchor that, so I thought I might use this ticket shape from the florals, but it just wasn't working, so I moved on from that, and I'm looking for something else. I pull in the foam stickers, and I found this phrase that says, "just another day," and I thought that would be a great phrase to place across the bottom of that typewriter, and I also like the punch of yellow that this brings in. Now, I'm trying to figure out a way to also add these eyeglasses off to the side, but I end up switching that out for another floral just because it didn't quite work with that phrase once I put that across the bottom of the typewriter. Now, the idea for this phrase that says "just another day" is not to use it as my title per se, but as a journaling starter, and I'm going to talk more about that later. But for now, I'm switching back to the photo, and I'm going to add some more paper layers behind here. I decided to go with this cream ledger. I really like the brightness that this adds to the page, and also again it's filling that space, right? So I'm just using my pencil to make a couple of marks, and I'll just trim that down and start layering this up. I also end up adding another paper layer to this, and I'll explain that in just a few moments. The clipboard piece was kind of my impetus for this because I wanted it to look like that clipboard piece was holding all of those different pattern paper layers together. And I really like how this is looking, but I felt like it still needed some more layers, so I'll jump back to that in a moment. In the meantime, I'm going to start looking for some more layers that I can add. I feel like I want an anchoring point to go across the bottom of this layout, and so I'm going to cut some strips for that photo and for that typewriter to sit on so it doesn't feel like they're floating around in the air. So I went with this yellow arrow paper. I like that bright color that it adds to the page, and then I'm going to also cut a strip of these little push pins on this navy background and place that in there. And those two bold patterns really anchor and bring your eye down to the bottom of the page, or just give it a good solid foundation. Now this is where I decide, I want to add one more layer in behind that single photo, and I decide to bring in a mint color vibe cardstock. I wanted that mint color of the typewriter to be repeated in another place on the page layout, and I thought that would be a good place to do that. Now, I also wanted to add more definition to this navy paper, so, and also, also tie it back into the layers I have going around my photo. So I decided to add in more of that tomato color vibe cardstock and just add a teeny little edge of that across the bottom of that navy pushpin paper. At this point, I want to build out the left side of my embellishment cluster a bit more. So I'm taking a look at these journal elements on this journal element paper, and I'm trying to find one that I think I can layer up behind that typewriter and just tuck it in the layers behind the photo mat. So I pick this one and I tuck that in there, and I really like how that looks, but I feel like I need a few more pieces. I go back to the journal element paper. I'm going to cut out a few more pieces and try those on for size, but I will switch gears and go to the bits and pieces because all these squares just aren't quite working. They're all really similar in size, and I want some more variety. So I'm going to go over to the bits and pieces die cuts here in just a moment. I did find this blush tag piece on that paper, and I like that because I can angle cut the top and see, I thought, oh, that's a different shape, and maybe that will work if I place this horizontally. But the color, again, just blended in with those blush daisies that I already have going. So I decide, nope, I need a different shape. I need a different size of something. So that's when I head over to the bits and pieces. I'm going to try on a few things here, but I find this smaller tag piece in the bits and pieces, and I decide to go with that. It's so cute. It has like these little circles, like these, remember the little bubble sheets that you used to fill out when you're with, I know it has like little typewriter keys on it, but it reminded me of those little bubble sheets that we used to fill out when we took tests like in junior high school. So I like that and I want to grab that. So I grabbed that piece, and then I also grabbed that little ticket piece that has the number on it, and I'm going to layer those up with those 3 different shapes behind the typewriter. So now that I found these shapes or these pieces, I'm good to go, and I feel like I can start adhering things to the layout. I go ahead and tack down those layered strips across the bottom. I use a grid ruler to help me to get that straight. I also use a grid ruler to help me get to the photo mat straight, and then I will go ahead and add twine to that little ticket piece and then layer up those ephemera pieces behind the photo mat. The next thing I'm going to switch gears to is the title. So I'm going to grab this 12 by 12 sticker sheet, and on that sheet are some general words. We have this word currently and this word life. Now I know these are really generic phrases, but I actually like that because it's perfect for pages like this where you just have a random everyday selfie, and so I think that works great. So I'm going to go ahead and use my grid ruler to make sure that word life is straight, and then I'll add that navy currently right across the top. I'm using some thin foam tape to just give that a bit of dimension, and I like how that fills the space up there. So I have all my flat paper layers ready, and I feel like now's the time I can start bringing in some more dimensional items. So I grab my favorite, which is the decorative brads. I select a large brad that says photo op to place to the left of the word life, which I think is really cute because it is a selfie. And then I placed a medium striped brad down by the typewriter just to repeat that texture in another place on the page. There were these 2 heart stickers that I thought might be cute to add up there, but they kind of blended into the background of that cornflower cardstock. The 2 colors were almost the same value, and so it just didn't pop for me. So instead, I placed another floral bit up there, and then of course I'm sprinkling in a few more of those tiny brads just to add a little sprinkling element. Now I wanted to do, I felt like the bottom of the page needed to be filled out a bit more. So I had the idea to punch a scallop piece from the red cardstock and add that along the bottom. So you can see that I used my Stampin' Up! Scallop punch to do that. But when I tucked it in there, it just felt a little too ketchup mustard to me. Are you like that? Like, I don't know why, but when I'm scrapbooking, I have a really hard time putting yellow and red next to each other. I like primary color schemes, but I can't do a lot of yellow and red because guess it just reminds me of hot dogs with the ketchup and mustard, right? I don't know. Anyway, so I went and found this scallop piece over on the 12 by 12 sticker sheet that was a soft mint color with those blush daisies, and I liked that a lot better. Now the scallop border sticker isn't a full 12 by 12 inch, but that didn't bother me. I just centered it across the bottom, and I actually like the little variety that adds with those layers down there. I'm going to add some texture to the edges of this background with my edge distressor, and then I'm going to come back in and add the rest of my journaling, so to speak. I'm going to use the Color Vibe Alpha stickers in the Basics family to add a phrase that says, "and another selfie." So my journaling is going to start off with that foam sticker that says, "just another day and another selfie," which, you know, is how we are. We take lots of selfies, and I think that works great. So I'll take a minute and get those lined up across the bottom there, tuck this last little letter under the brad that's already existing, and then I'm going to add some more texture to this page with a bit of hemp twine. So I used a double length of that and a glue dot to just add a bow to the top, and then I'm going to come back in with another tiny solid brad and add that to the middle of that bow. You can see I added the green one right here, and I will also add some handwritten journaling on that ticket piece. You can see that I just quickly wrote the date and my daughter's name, and that will finish out the layout. You guys, thank you so much for watching my videos. I love interacting with you in the comments. If you have any questions, let me know, and if not, I will see you again soon in the next video. Have a great week.